What I'm going to go over in this video help generate hundreds of millions of dollars into Shopify websites, selling products all around the world for my clients. And I believe these are the mistakes that most people make when they get into e-commerce and when they get into business. So stick around. I'm going to show you all the stuff in this video, and I'm going to go over some massive mistakes that cost people millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, so you don't make the same mistakes they did. So let's get into the video and see that. Hey, Clayton Bates here from Inspire Small Business. And in today's video, I wanted to talk about Shopify for beginners, the mistakes to avoid in your first 30 days on Shopify. There's a lot of things a lot of people overlook, and I thought this video would be cool to make because we've now spoke to like 2,000 people, work with 600 people that have websites on e-commerce. We've generated hundreds of millions of dollars to people, like through people's websites all around the world. And a lot of people make these mistakes. So I'm just going to go over them right now. So the first one would be having a clear niche or target audience. A lot of people, when they start their business or whatever, they're like, I want to sell this drink bottle. And then they never think about like who that person is that's going to buy the drink bottle sort of thing, or how they're going to sell it and stuff like that. They don't do enough research into these things. And some of the most successful people I've worked with, by the way, have really dived in and they really understand the people that are buying their product. Now, when you first start out, that might be a little bit hard, but you want to do some research and maybe give some of your products out to some people, get some feedback from them to really understand what people want and what messaging to put on the website. You can use lots of different tools and stuff to do this, but what I find is give your product out to a few people, get some feedback, and go from there, sort of thing. The next one's a really big one, overcomplicating the design of the website. Now, so many people make this mistake. Even me 10 years ago made this mistake. And the thing is, if you're building your website and you're spending 100 hours on it, you're definitely spending way too much time on your website. That's something you really need to think about when you're first starting out, because a lot of the times you could spend all this time on your website and basically 6 months later completely change your whole website again. And you're probably making so many mistakes on your website anyway. So you're spending all this time just wasted, when one of the most important things is to go out and actually get people to come to your website and buy something. I made a lot of videos about this, but I'll leave a video on the card or below, basically going over the 5 key areas that you want to focus on your website, and that's the homepage, product page, site navigation, checkout, and mobile friendly. But I'll leave that video if you want to check that out. Don't overcomplicate it. Make it simple, get some sales, and then go from there, sort of thing. All right, the next one is ignoring mobile optimization. Now, I know in the last point, I sort of talked about not focusing too much on your website, but the thing is, 50 to 90% of your traffic is going to come from mobile. And the really big mistake I think a lot of people make is when they're building their website, they're sitting on a laptop building their website and they're looking at what it looks like on a desktop when 50 to 90% of traffic is mobile. These days, a lot of websites are getting 60, 70, 80%, 90% traffic mobile. So you want to make sure you're optimizing the site for mobile phone. If you have a large monitor, there's one thing you got to think about as well. Less than 1% of people will probably be on your website on a large monitor. So if you're building your website on a large monitor and you're like, oh, this looks like crap, 99% of people will never see that. So it's something you really have to think about when you're building out your website. All right, the next point, I've sort of lumped a few things together. So SEO optimized, product descriptions, and pages. Now, personally for me, I don't 100% agree that SEO is the way for your website. But if you want to do some basic SEO stuff on your website, it's really good to do that. So for example, having really good product descriptions and having all the appropriate pages. So for example, having an about page, a contact page, a frequently asked questions page, a reviews page, size chart page, things like this. These all really help the website. They're little one percenters that a lot of people overlook a lot of the time. Only 1 to 5 people out of 100 will go to those pages, but they can make a really big difference over a whole year. If you want me to make a video about SEO, let me know in the comments below. I've been thinking about making it, even though 80-90% of our clients make most of their money from paid social media or organic social media. Not that many of our clients actually make money from SEO, mostly because a lot of products are very competitive on search. So you think some big brands are spending tens of thousands of dollars a month on SEO and Google ads and things like that. So it makes it really hard for little companies to actually outcompete some of these people. But I can definitely make a video if enough people leave a comment below and just go over everything like that. Hey, I'm just interrupting this video for a special offer that I have. If you want a free video review, no strings attached of your website, let me know. There'll be a link below. You can go to my website and I'll do a free video review of your website, going over tips and suggestions to help improve conversions and things like that. Completely free, no strings attached. Check out the link below and back to the video. All right, the next one is overloading on apps for your website. So basically adding a lot of plugins and stuff like that. It's not the all you can eat buffet. A lot of people go to the Shopify app store, and because I think there's like 8,000 apps or something now, they just grab different things and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, I need that. I need this. I need that. When at first you just need to keep it simple, like I said earlier. And having too many apps like slows down your website most of the time. So normally what I recommend is I'll leave a link above and below somewhere. The top 5 Shopify apps that I recommend. If you have over 10 apps, I would say 90% chance you have too many apps. So normally the only time someone would have over 10 apps in their website is if they're maybe making like 50,000, 100,000 a month. If you're under like 10,000 and you have more than 10 apps, most likely you have way too many. So you really have to think about what you really need, the bare minimum. Get an okay website, go get the sales. That's the most important thing to focus on. Once you start to get some sales, go back to revisit building the website again and using more apps and things like that. All right, the next one, you'd be super surprised like how many people don't do this one, testing their checkout. The amount of people that don't test their checkout is unbelievable. So I would say when I do free audits of people's websites, one of the biggest things that people forget to do or don't do is actually go through their checkout and see what it looks like. Because a lot of people will forget to add their logo, their colors in the checkout, and there's a big disconnect in the checkout. And then some people will not even test their payment gateways, so the payment gateways don't work. So it's super important that you go into your checkout, you test it, put your payments into test mode, or just even personally for me, I don't like to do payments in test mode. I actually like to do real orders and pay for them because then you get all the emails, everything like that. You see how long it takes for PayPal and Shopify to pay you. So it's really good that way, I think. So definitely go through, check your checkout. I'll leave another link somewhere about a video I made about that as well. All right, the next issue is neglecting marketing from the start. So whether that's posting on social media, running ads, doing SEO, things like this, a lot of people neglect this. And this actually used to be a big issue when I used to work with dropshippers. I don't work with dropshippers anymore, or super rare. But years ago when I used to, people would come, get a website and be like, why didn't I make any sales? And it's like, well, you did nothing. You didn't run ads, you didn't build a social following, things like this. So what I've sort of learned is the people that make it normally, they're super consistent. So if they say they're going to post Monday, Wednesday, Friday on Instagram, they normally do, or they're showing up every single day, posting on Instagram, going down the right path, things like that. I actually ran into someone once and she was making over $1 million a year organically just through her Instagram account. This was like 5 years ago. And I was like, how do you make $1 million through Instagram? And she was like, Clayton, for the last 6 years, I've posted every single day except for 3 or 4 days in 6 years. I just kept showing up, kept putting it out there, and now she's makes over $1 million a year just from organic traffic from Instagram. And the funny thing is, we have now worked with people making way more than that just organically on Instagram. And like I said, most of the people that make it, they're super consistent, like getting the message out there, getting their product out there, whether it's organic, paid, some people SEO, but like I said before, most of our clients mostly get stuff through social media and stuff like that. So definitely got to get the momentum rolling. I made another video, which I'll leave a link somewhere, about just talking about the pros and cons to like using Shopify, being consistent, things like that. So you can check out that video also. All right, the next one is a really big issue too: unrealistic expectations. So basically, a lot of people, they sort of overestimate what they can do in a year and what they can do in 5 years. And what I sort of mean like by that is, some people will be like, I'm going to make $1 million year one, and I'm going to make $5 million in 5 years, where they probably could easily make the 5 million in 5 years, but it's actually a lot harder to make $1 million in the first year. So people will like launch a website and then be like, oh, expected to get like 1,000 sales in the first week. And it's like, that rarely ever happens. Like, the only time I've ever seen someone launch a brand new website and go crazy is one time. So someone launched a brand new website, they made 100K in the first 25 hours in business, and then they went bankrupt in 6 months, which was very sad. And the thing about people over their expectations not being realistic is, you think making 100K day one in business is a good thing, but it's actually probably a terrible thing, because if there's any flaw in your business, at scale is going to be a nightmare. And these people decided that they're going to charge everyone pre-orders, not charge them shipping, and then charge them shipping later. And the amount of refunds that they process later is unbelievable. People don't read on websites. So what I was sort of saying is that if you made $1,000 day one or week one, and you had an issue like that, it would be not a very big issue. But if you make 100K day one and there's this issue, it will cripple you, sort of thing. So sometimes scaling slower is better because you get all the kinks out, or you start slow and then when you've worked everything out, then explode it, sort of thing. So yeah, definitely a lot of people definitely have unrealistic expectations when they launch a website. And the funny thing, which I've talked about a lot, is sometimes it's easier for me to make someone already making $1 million a year to make an extra $1 million a year than to get someone their first sale. Like, one of the hardest things is someone to get their first sale. You have to do whatever it takes to get there. You really need that momentum going, sort of thing. It's super important. All right. The next one is not having a plan. A lot of people don't have a plan, and I think a lot of people underestimate this plan. So even for me, like, you can't see this at the moment, but I have a whiteboard here with a plan. I have a Google Docs and stuff, and I'm sort of like tracking everything towards my goal and my plan and stuff like that. And I think that's one of the most important things you can do. Like, for example, one of your plans could be, in quarter one, get 10 sales a week. And then you write on your little Google Docs, I got 8, got 9. And then maybe quarter two is like 30 sales a week. And you can see your progress and stuff like that. If you're just winging it and things like that, some people can. But if you're not tracking what you're doing, it makes it like super hard to know how far you've come, where you're going, things like that. The one good thing about my old whiteboards that I used to have in my house is, like, if my business was struggling, I'd just look right and I'd know if I was in trouble or not, because they'd be green and red. Like, green's good, red's bad. So I'd be able to track everything and how I'm going and stuff like that. And a lot of people don't do this. They just sort of wing it and just hope for the best. And I think that really hurts them. All right, that's it for the video. I would really love to have like a discussion in the comments about what you think, what you're struggling with and stuff. I answer every single comment in below. So if you have a comment, a question, let me know below. If you check out my other videos, a lot of the times I'll just be like, email me and I'll send like a custom video or whatever sort of thing. So let me know in the comments. I really appreciate if you subscribe and like. It helps me out a lot. And yeah, give me some suggestions for future videos. And there's probably some sort of off on the screen now. And until next time, have a good one.